on the Atlantic coast of the Sunshine State. Cross-state rivals meeting here tonight in Miami, FIU Stadium. Tonight's match is brought to you by Hellbiz. It's Miami FC taking on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr, glad to have you aboard. There are an abundance of storylines. We'll get to them all over the next few minutes. But Devin, we begin with the standings. The Rowdies 3 points clear now. Pittsburgh, Miami, with 3 points could move into third.
They are literally on the borderline of both the standings, Mike, and their form. As you watch Miami FC play, good defensively, some excellent goalkeeping. Where they're struggling right now is in the final third. And that's a bit of a conundrum when you take a look at the numbers in front of you. 10 different goal scorers this season, 10 goals to their name. The goal scorers are what is interesting and has to pop out. That's tied for second in the league. They spread the wealth. They know how to move down into the final third. The problem is nobody else has more than one goal in the entire team. That's last in the USL Championship. For this team to have success moving forward, it is time for someone to step up, take the reins, and start pounding the back of the nylon.
And international duty has certainly knocked them down a peg. For the Rowdies, it's been injuries, but their defense is intact, and they've been spectacular.
Shocking. Everybody talks about the back three, Guillen, Lasso, and Scarlett. I will as well. It's the best back line in the USL Championship right now, but do not sleep on Evan Laurel. Everybody wondered when McCarthy took off to Inter Miami after leaving the Rowdies, who was going to step up. They said, oh, we got Evan Laurel. He's been spectacular ever since. Defensively, only 6 goals given up. They've only given up 2 goals to another team once. It was against Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and they've done that all, Mike, without the players in front of you right here. Dos Santos, M. Kasana, Tejada, Lawrence White, Ekra, spoiler alert, available tonight for selection for the first time in a while. He has made his way into the 18. You get these guys back. You get goals, you get success, you get leadership. It's scary. 2 games in hand, they're still in first place.
So the Rowdies, banged up as ever, make the trip to Miami. We'll tell you why Paul Dalglish is not on the touchline tonight. And of course, we'll kick this one off. It's a derby with no name in Florida, Miami, Tampa Bay, when we return.
But now, to move forward, to start running again, we have to change. We need to learn to be smarter and lighter, to reach each other in the distance. We will move, run, and ride. But we need to decide how. Because our choices can change everything. We are choosing a new era.
This is a football city. From the grassroots to the turf. From the streets to the cleats. We are proud to represent this city. We are proud to represent Miami. We are proud to represent you. Your community, your club.
Welcome back to FIU Stadium. Miami FC taking on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. It's the kind of game you wake up in the morning and wait all day for, and finally it's arrived. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr, the starting lineups are brought to you by Hellbiz. We begin with Neil Collins, Rowdies.
After their loss to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds back on June 19th, they've gone 2 wins in a row, 2 shutouts in a row, and Neil Collins is only going to make one change. Max Lakowecki is going to step into the outside midfielder position. Leo Fernandez to the bench. Watch the rotation by Doherty to the right. Steinberger and the combination with Lewis Hilton. Hilton has been fantastic in distribution coming to the midfield, finding those streaking runs. A little different look for Miami FC tonight in the sense of Pierre Da Silva to the inside in combination with Ariel Martinez. I love the idea of the two of them working off of each other. Still have to find a way to get Da Silva and transition. A lot of speed up top, and Ba and Reed and Richie Ballard and Janos Luba. It's going to be active on the outside. Dalgard and Lakowecki are going to push the pace. Can they be two-way players? Can you help supplement the offensive side of the ball, but still remain intact defensively?
Well, here's some of the news that came this morning. Paul Dalglish is tested positive for COVID-19. He did prove symptomatic. He is away from the team right now. Received confirmation of that positive test earlier this evening. Andy Thompson will take over the side, an assistant coach who joined the side on March 25th. He was last the technical director at IMG Academy, has coached on 3 continents, and did have a stint at San Antonio FC within the league. He's primarily in charge, among other duties, of periodization for the players. So he is heavily involved in the day-to-day operations of the side. He steps in, and we wish Paul well as he recovers. Doherty stands over the ball for the Rowdies. Tampa Bay off to a tremendous start. 6 wins on the bounce. Since then, couple wins, couple losses. A very injured Tampa Bay side. A very reduced Miami side by international duty meeting here tonight in Miami. We are underway. And the Rowdies into possession to begin. Guillen. This will belong to the Rowdies. Devin, you spoke to Neil Collins. I spoke to Paul Dalglish yesterday. We were both asking about what this rivalry is at this stage. It's been dominated of late by the Rowdies going back to the tail end of the two sides' time in the NASL. You could say that in the USL Championship, it's been a clean sweep for the Rowdies so far. It does feel like there's a bit of a chip on Miami's shoulder, but it's such a short history at this point that it's hard to call it a derby necessarily.
Of course, but still, these are battles. Just go back to the May 22nd game in the 2-1 victory for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. That was a fantastic match, and some might argue Miami FC could have come out on top and possibly should have come out on top. The fact that a team who has struggled so many times before against opposition like this, but still steps up to the plate, bodes well. That's a good thing for Miami FC. What they're more concerned about right now, Mike, to be honest, is just a result. Whether it's Tampa Bay Rowdies, Charleston Battery, Hartford Athletic, they just want to put 3 points up on the board and continue this process.
Hilton is a bit hampered here. Referee's gone to look at him. You saw Neil Collins there a moment ago, center back turned coach mid-season some 4 years ago. This is 3rd full season at the helm. Scarlett got into the header defensively. And a throw for Paco Craig. Well, a throw to a throw, I suppose. There's Neil Collins. The blogging footballer. If not a coach or a player, he'd probably be writing about the game, he once said.
Either that or modeling for that bubbly water. And I'm not talking about bubbly water.
Iron Brew?
Of course. Everybody for the Rowdies is going, come on, man.
Say it.
Get it in there. It's bubbly water. What did he call it?
Liquid
gold.
Yes.
That's right. Liquid gold.
And Velveeta immediately sued us for copyright infringement. Ball across here for Martinez. And back to Paco Craig. 3 times named to the All-USL Championship first team. Sparrow. Devin, no Lamar Walker, no Speedy Williams, no Brian Silvestri due to international duty. There's question whether that was a handball from Scarlett or if that was a foul from Ba. It is the latter. Let's take a look at tonight's injury report. It's brought to you by Atlantic Rehabilitation Center. So the players away on international duty, and then Sion McFarland and Luke Antonelli are still out, Devin, for Miami.
For Luke Antonelli, he was just starting to get some minutes underneath his belt and find his sea legs, if you will. And Dalglish talking about how he thought they were creating a good relationship between he and Paco Craig. The linguistics and how that play out throughout this entire squad was something that was extremely impressive, and the fact that Paco Craig, fluent Italian, able to go back and forth with Luca Antonelli. Paco Craig then, of course, fluent in English.
Right.
So that's always good.
A game
both American and proper.
Indeed.
and then I also thought it was interesting that Pierre da Silva, Spanish, Ariel Martinez, fluent in Spanish. So that was that connection. So you've got 4 languages regularly represented on the field, and not everybody can talk to each other. This is why it's the global game that everybody loves. There's an understanding within this squad that Ariel Martinez and Luke Antonelli have no clue what either one of them is saying. Your eyes, your brain, your body says it.
This struck across the face of goal, and Laurel pushes the Adonijah Reed shot aside. Good opening salvo offensively there for Miami.
Same thing. You don't always have to know what someone's going to be barking at you, but a good recognition by Adonijah Reed. It's just that little PR of Aaron Guillen. Guerin will push very high. He understands that behind him, he's got Forrest Lasso. The tendency will be to slide left a little bit, allow the left footer to distribute off the back line, Guillen to help out going forward. That's a good look for Reed to get in behind.
Well, Guinzotti is none too happy with that call. Thomas Snyder is the referee tonight. Ballard. Ballard got rid of the man bun when he was still at Louisville. He said he was getting ribbed a bit too much, but has brought back the longer hair. Don't care. Craig, his former teammate in Louisville. It's a good run through midfield by Da Silva. Now, Dev, the injuries are one thing. Luke Antonelli you mentioned extensively, but Speedy Williams is, if not the best, certainly among the best central midfielders in the championship. Lamar Walker was just coming into his own, and they're with Jamaica, who've been to multiple finals in the Gold Cup in the past decade. They could be gone for a month.
Would make the argument based upon form that he is the best. Speedy Williams. Given the season that he had in 2020, he was magnificent. And that's a massive loss for Louisville City, of course, but they know about losing players like that. Paco Craig, same thing. You know, the opportunity after 2019 to step abroad and take his trade somewhere else. It just seems like every single time you turn your head for Miami FC, it's something. Right? We talked about the distribution of wealth up top, 10 different goal scorers, 10 goals to their name. That means only 1 per person. Respect the math. And also understand that international duty, injuries, are they ever going to get a full squad? That's another thing. We could sit here and say form is this, can't get results here or there. They haven't had the opportunity to all train, or more importantly, play with each other on a regular basis. So the fact that, given we're a third of the way through the season for some teams, they're still right there, that's important, Mike. Because all you need to do is stay within arm's reach at this point in time.
Bit of a wait, and Sparrow drives it away. Whistle arrives late, and Ballard's asking what he did to Lakawecki. Lakawecki, all the while, seems pretty clear he felt wronged. Andy Thompson coaching from the sideline. Neil Collins, the head coach for Tampa Bay, tested positive among others, ahead of the USL Championship final, which was canceled last year. The expectation was that he would be able to coach from another location and add his thoughts as the game went on, because he wasn't suspended. As this bounces aside and driven away by János Luba. I mean, there were rumors that he was going to sit on top of the adjacent building next to the stadium, to be fair.
Let's get this out of the way. You never wish for a situation like that, of course. However, you do sort of wonder. I can almost picture him in one of those old school fold-up chairs, like an old school beach chair.
It's how the way, yeah, that's how I envisioned it.
Iron brew next to him, maybe an umbrella up over the top, because he is on top of the building. You don't want to put yourself too much at risk with the sun. Beautiful breeze coming off the bay. Oh, that's a postcard in itself.
It's a Wrigleyville-style seating arrangement.
We need to make that happen, even just for a picture.
Do you want to maybe commentate our next national game in St. Pete that way?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Most people want us socially distanced anyway.
True enough. Back to reality. Dejan Harris lining this across for Guenzati. De Silva rises over the top, header down by Scarlett. Ba tried to get a piece, and Hilton is exclaiming for a free kick he won't get. Lasso will allow Loro onto the ball. 10th minute and scoreless. This is a soft opening as far as fans go. For the first time in the USL Championship, Miami has fans in the stands. Ball ahead to Guenzati. What a back heel. Lakawecki. There was a deflection. It will be a corner.
This is all about the touch from Sebastian Dalgard that allows Dejan Harris up top to continue the movement going forward. Everybody starts to press in on the outside midfielder, and as they do, the space in behind opens up. One of the things you get with Dejan Harris is an understanding that he doesn't have to do everything himself. Yes, he's got the speed. More importantly, he's got the vision. He knows that he's going to get supplemental runs coming out of the midfield. Guenzati as well, and then Lakawecki on the far post to help out.
Corner, Tampa Bay. They've gone short, and Dalgard whipping that through. This will run out to touch. Now, the fans who are here are family of players, but also folks from the academy and their families. It was invite only tonight. The next time the Rowdies play here, which is Miami's next home game on July the 13th, the stadium will be allowed full capacity. So tickets are on sale now for that. There was something to be said about the fact that Paul Dalglish actually said, Ralph's mob will be here. This is a travel game. He was briefly the head coach for a franchise in Tampa Bay back in 2010. Driven away here by Laurel. But Devin, we can talk about the lack of players availability, but there is an element of there hasn't been a home field advantage the entire time Miami's been in the league. Ba, Reed, Adonijah Reed.
I thought he wanted this on his right foot. The cut back right at the end of it gets him in trouble. That's difficult, Mike. When you don't have something to call your own, you've never really established a pure dominance. And a lot of teams around the league had to deal with that. But first year into the season, not really, right? You look at New Mexico United when they came in, what the lab was able to do for them. Even look at Hartford Athletic, 7 games on the road to start their season back in 2019.
But they opened with 15,000 at Rentschler Field.
And it was insane. Every time they played at home from there on out, they got better and better in terms of their overall performance. That's what a team needs. They need something to build around. You know, people within Rowdies, Phoenix, Louisville, New Mexico United, those organizations, they take it for granted. That's a good thing, by the way, that they take it for granted because it's second nature. It's built into their culture. That's what Miami FC wants.
Reed crossing, and this will ricochet out for a corner. For what it's worth, you and I tried to get to a Miami FC game right before they came to the USL Championship in the Open Cup, and the game was canceled because of lightning.
Shocking.
That's the South Florida you and I know and love. But they're really excited to have fans back in the venue and a little more life. Cheer these players on. De Silva will place this down. A goal and an assist this year for the New York native who spent much of his pro career up in Orlando. De Silva toward Craig. This will send Luba back. Ballard. De Silva. Good win of the ball high up the field. Ba leading De Silva, who somehow slid that across and gets whipped out by Guillen. Miami had 14 shots inside the box against New York Red Bulls 2 last time out. And they're looking to create again from high XG places.
Good little slide down into the corner. Well done on the pressure by Janos Luba. Full extension. Notice Sebastian Dalgaard doesn't overcommit here, but he undercommits, to be fair. He could have easily sat, let this ball be picked up, or stepped a bit higher, got into the tackle. Instead, you open yourself up out on that far flank. There is an interesting little relationship that's developed between Dalgaard, Doherty, and Jordan Scarlett. It's a good one, but if you watch the way that they build, Dalgaard will actually sit a little bit deeper at times, help out defensively. Jordan Doherty will be the one to actually stretch the outside. Now, Dalgaard's the speed. We know that. We know that he can burst into the final third and has great distribution coming in. But he has really been a great attribute to help out on that back line. So Doherty's carrying a bit more of the brunt of the load in the midfield. A lot of spacing between he and Lewis Hilton, who actually drop a little bit deeper. So there's this space, Mike, that develops unintentionally at times in the midfield that's easy to step into and then explode the other direction.
Hilton, who comes off a tremendous game for Tampa Bay against Charleston. Hilton once more, shoved off the ball. Good aggression by Miami to win that back. Martinez. Ba. Loba. Martinez. Away from Akinyoti. You're going to hear the shouts to get this off to the other side. It is Lakawecki leading Guillen, who's way up the field now. Ballard.
Ooh, that'll leave a mark.
Caught Ballard. That was Lakawecki. Those two have already had quite the battle.
We approach the 20-minute mark of the first half. Well done by Miami FC so far defensively. Good understanding of where the runs are trying to come from. And to be fair for Neil Collins, he's not exactly happy with the build. You can hear the shouts coming from the sideline. You talked about the one just prior. Swing it was the call. Ball comes a little bit late. As it does come all the way back across, it's easy enough for Miami FC to pick up where the rotation is coming from. Just a quick little shift over. Wonder what this team looks like when everybody comes back, Mike. You know, it's simple to look at a team and say they're getting results. This is going well on the road, at home. And it's almost unfathomable to think that it could change negatively. And I'm not saying that it's going to, but think about all the pieces that can, not that it will, but can have the possibility to disrupt some of that chemistry. There's a lot of names on that team for both the Tampa Bay Rowdies and the Miami FC. And of course, Miami FC will take it because they're not exactly getting the results that they want right now. But for the Rowdies, only 2 losses on the season. I mentioned they've only given up more than 1 goal once. It was to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in that 2-1 loss at Al Lang. Other than that, it's pretty much been smooth sailing for them. Defensively stout. Some of it actually, and I'm not comparing the teams, I'm comparing the overall results. Some of the results actually remind me a little bit of San Diego Loyal and how they build back to front and just haven't been that fantastic in or around goal. You know, picking the brain of Neil Collins, I just said, is it as simple as goals and getting better up top? And no, there's much more to it than that. But he is extremely happy with how they've been in goal, how they've been on the back line, and the movement coming forward. Lewis Hilton is playing at another level right now. Get that out of the way. He is magnificent. And it's not just the Charleston Battery game, although completing over 100 passes for 85% accuracy isn't bad. Gives you so much flexibility within the midfield, especially with all the losses they've had.
Oh, that hung up on the turf awkwardly, and Scarlett had to put that out. I mean, I remember Anthony Pulis telling me, gosh, it was 3-4 years ago, that Lewis Hilton was the most underrated player in the USL. Corner Miami for Palacios. Ballard navigates the space. Ball whipped back across. Reed is all alone at the back post. Miami scores. And this unbreakable Rowdies defense concedes. That goal is brought to you by Helbiz.
It's all about the turn from Richie Ballard. The pressure that's coming towards him and just the spin over the left shoulder to free himself up on the secondary ball. Watch this little pivot right here on the pressure by Guenzotti. Great little pirouette, head up, and all he's trying to do is put this into a danger area. Multiple runners on the back post. Paco Craig, Callan Chapman-Page. Instead, Pierre da Silva on this magnificent ball off that silky smooth left foot. Brings it square. Adonijah Reed, you don't need pace when you've got perfect precision just inside the 6-yard box.
And that's maybe the most important stat of all. Reed's second goal of the year. And finally, a player for Miami has multiple goals. 11 goals by 10 players. And Devin, think back to the beginning of Adonijah Reed's time in Ottawa. He went off. This is slid away by Tampa Bay. Scarlett's in it again. And a yellow card's gone up here as Ba walks this off.
A yellow card has been issued to Tampa Bay Rowdies number 3, Forrest Lasso.
Lasso given a yellow.
In the 23rd minute.
In the 23rd minute here, his second yellow of the year. And Martinez is it the stomp by Lasso there as he goes through, I suppose?
Stomp by Lasso initially, the ball down in, there's another challenge.
He'd shown the yellow to Lasso, not the tackle by Scarlett. I think Lasso is equally dumbfounded. This will hang up for Reed. Collision, Chapman Page got it away. Ballard between three Rowdies. That's ill-fated. Doherty knocks it wide. Dalgard reverses. Rolled out by Steinberger. Luba, it's going the other way.
Something interesting to note, Mike, and obviously we're a bit far to start to hypothesize of what could happen come halftime of the second half. In that 2-1 loss back on June 19th against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Danny Griffin scored an extremely similar spot, 21st minute. Lewis Hilton, Lewis Hilton picked his card up in, like, I believe it was the 35th minute or something like that, but Forrest Lasso picked up a card. They ended up taking him off at halftime. A little fear that maybe that could come back to haunt them given the fixtures that they had up and coming. They were getting ready to go on a road trip. Didn't exactly perform at their best once he came off in an area that they did control most of the game, to be fair, but the counter-attacking option once he came off became much more prevalent for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And just keep an eye on it. Picking up a yellow card this early on, Neil Collins has already showed his card once. Not afraid to go to his bench if need be, even for Forrest Lasso.
This will find Martinez, who rolls further for Ba. And Devin, I suppose the difference now, look at their roster. I guess Lakawecki could drop into that back three, could fill that out, but there's not a lot of options off that bench in terms of defenders. Anley would need to step in, and then you'd have to move, I suppose, maybe Scarlett into the center.
Good ball in behind. Well read by Martinez. I was just going to say you could easily pull Scarlett to the back line and play him in the middle of the back three. That's the simple move. Remember, you have Connor Antley too, right? So that's, I mean, you're definitely sniffing down the right path.
But it is a very short bench for Tampa Bay tonight. Serbel, Adebayo, Smith, Antley, and Jan Ekra, who may be in name only. Hasn't played in quite a while. Unclear just how much Ekra has to give tonight. Reed, Martinez, Ba. Harris. Deon Harris will continue here. Palacios steps in, the former Florida soccer soldier. Turns starting 11 for Miami FC here. And Martinez got dragged down by Scarlett.
That's music to my ears. That was a fun run, wasn't it?
The Florida soccer soldiers.
Oh.
Couple players from those.
Love me some Valentin Sabella. Give it to me
Charlotte.
all day. That banger that he scored, a couple matches back against Hartford Athletic. Whew.
Well, and the fact that he scored to help knock out the Charlotte Independents, they said, no,
yeah,
if you can't beat him,
the irony.
Pay him to join us. There's Lasso up to the task. It's a busy but not overwhelming Wednesday in the league. There are 6 matches, one of which is already in the books. Charleston and Pittsburgh 1-1, which means drop points in the Atlantic Division yet again. Charlotte leads New York, which is to the benefit of neither of these teams. Charlotte looking to make their way up the standings. Atlanta and Indy are also nearing the half-hour mark scoreless. And then Austin, RGV, Sacramento, and Oakland coming up later on tonight on ESPN+. I could stand to watch that Oakland game, I think.
Absolutely. A little bit past my bedtime, but set the alarm for the morning, stay up late. A little brown water to go with it.
Akinyoti swarmed by Steinberger, but somehow dipped and dodged his way through it. Sparrow. Sparrow's been able to keep Brian Silvestri entirely latched to the bench so far. More on that in a moment. Martinez. Oh, he's dancing on Scarlett. Reed. This will ricochet out to Doherty. Brian Silvestri made his debut for the Haitian national team down in Fort Lauderdale. That was last night in CONCACAF Gold Cup qualifying. Haiti thoroughly dispatching Bermuda. And Silvestri is expected to be the starter for Haiti moving forward. The congratulations for moving on and moving up. He'll play against the U.S. men's national team.
Welcome.
On Sunday in Kansas City.
Enjoy the tournament proper, as they'd say. Love that little step off the back line just moments ago by Aaron Guillen. Got to start to show a different look here for Tampa Bay Rowdies to challenge what Miami FC has thrown at you. Just keeping the ball in front of them.
Well, taken away here by Doherty. Doherty crossing for Steinberger. High into the air with Hilton closing it down. And now Miami can counter. The option wide is Martinez, who is offside. Well, that almost defies logic. Which is not a statement about Martinez's pace or lack thereof.
No.
Merely a statement of how that counter should have been executed. Because when you talk to Paul Dalglish, that's a central theme. As this will drop back, Guinzotti for Lakawecki, who commits a foul. The aggression in counter-attacking, counter-pressing, being explosive in transition moments. Rare unforced Miami error in those moments, and Ballard got the worst end of that. He'll be picking some of those rubber pellets out of his pants tonight.
The only error in this equation are the atrocities that come with the artificial turf, the little pellets. They plague your life for the rest of existence once they pop onto your body once. I'm telling you.
Next time I see Kalen Kyle around the studio here, I'm going to make sure to ask whether there's still rubber pellets around the house from Harrison Heath playing at Miami for a year.
I can tell you that, well, for him there have to be. That's ingrained in his DNA, 100%. Little kids running around, rubber pellet balls, throwing them at each other. It's the perfect footballing world, trust me. I remember the Open Cup visit for the sideline of Atlanta United.
Oh, look at this. Guinzotti, high. There was a deflection. There is a corner. Dalgard, magnificent skill to get by Luba. And Guinzotti unlucky not to finish the job.
Much better, but this is what I talked about, how he stays so deep, but then all of a sudden, there's that spring, right? The one-on-one is always an excellent option for Sebastian Dalgard. 15 minutes to air, I looked right at you. I said, you know who's been awesome this year? Is Sebastian Dalgard out on that right-hand flank. Excellent addition just in front of Jordan Scarlett. He's really made it his home, and he's got the confidence now to play in those situations. He's got to define himself more.
Corner for the Rowdies. Doherty. Martinez. Adonijah Reed scored his second goal of the season back in the 21st minute off an impressive dish from Pierre Da Silva. Miami taking the lead at home in a game that could move them above the playoff line tonight against a side they have not beaten in 5 tries since joining the USL Championship. A Rowdies side top of the Atlantic and the apple of every organization's eye right now.
This is where the Rowdies get you into trouble, though. Look at the pinch that I talked about. Doherty way out wide, comes all the way back across, and then there's that half space for Steinberger to operate in between. It's been very difficult based upon the tracking from Junior Palacios and Akyanyoti in the midfield, but now they're getting the other two boys, Deon Harris and Guenzati, to drop a little bit deeper and combined with the likes of Lewis Hilton and Doherty as they build forward. Mike, as they start to combine more from the interior, that compresses Miami FC. They're going to start to chase coming back centrally, and then you can go back to the outside. That's how you're able to get the chances out of the likes of Dalgard and Lakawecki throughout the opening 35 minutes. Not a lot to work with, but they're starting to understand how the ebb and flow of this game is playing out.
Scarlett will operate from the back. Oh, Scarlett's gone down. Well, he knew it instantly, didn't he? Well, we talked about it in the open. The Rowdies have dealt with injuries all over the place, but the one triumvirate they've been able to keep together, Scarlett, Lasso, Guillen, arguably, and at this point perhaps inarguably, the best back three in the league.
Remember, at the tail end of last season, they were just getting him back for the final. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
That wasn't even confirmed. His name was very much so in pencil at that point in time. Already to the drawing board for Neil Collins, trying to figure out what the next move for him would be. We actually talked about it about 10 minutes ago. He's got to be thinking, what do I have to do to keep this team healthy and make sure everybody's taken care of moving forward, dropping like flies right now.
Well, Devin, you and I spoke to the brass at Tampa Bay ahead of the final, and the pieces that they were looking to add, the pieces they had on the roster already that won the Eastern Conference, finally got over the hump, beat Louisville away. They felt really good about what they were building, and rightfully so, and they came in this year with even more depth. But they're sitting here now, a third of the way through the season, certainly bewildered by the fact that it feels like they've lost a player every game they've played. Some players haven't featured at all. We haven't seen Tejada or M. Kosana, but that's almost exclusively stayed to the front line. Scarlett hopping around. Perhaps he will be able to continue on. Recently, Miami FC announced the return of fans to a full capacity FIU Stadium July 17th against these Tampa Bay Rowdies. Tickets are now on sale and can be purchased for that match and the remaining 2021 home matches at MiamiFC.com. Well, the radio communication continues from the athletic trainer over to the Rowdies bench. tapped out by Martinez. Scarlett's trotting over. I don't know that I've never seen this before.
No. Not even waved on, just pulling himself right back into the action.
Literally throwing in before.
Good on him. Got away with it.
Oh man, Dalgard took a knock, and Miami trying to seize possession in midfield. De Silva. Lakawecki. This was through effort alone that he took the ball away, and Callum Chapman-Page chopping down Deon Harris. Chapman-Page has gone into the book.
You can see the tackle happening from a mile away, and so does Deon Harris. This is some of that speed that I talked about. Just watch his right shoulder as he starts to turn the corner here. It's the first touch recognizing he's got to take this with the instep of his left. If it's with the right mic, he's going to decelerate. Most likely give Callum Chapman-Page an opportunity to grab a ton of ball. Instead, smartly puts it way out in front of him and knows the contact is coming.
At some point, we need to talk about this new Rowdies crest that adorns the Tampa Bay kit. But that's for another time. Set piece here for Lewis Hilton. Hilton delivers. Punched away by Sparrow. Uncomfortable catching that. With so much traffic. Doherty rips that across, and Paco Craig sends it back by Dalgard. Doherty. Will be a throw for Guillen. Devin, you like the new logo? You got Ralph Rowdy on it.
I do like it.
Mustachioed as ever.
Oh, I love it, actually, to be honest.
The word mark.
When we go back over there, not if, when, I'm getting some gear.
Harris got a shot away, and Sparrow gives it a half-hearted gesture. Allows that to roll by once he knew it was clear.
Lee Cohen doesn't know yet, but I'm raiding that locker of his. Not locker room, just his locker. He's going to turn the corner. He's going to be thinking about some sort of decision. Bringing a new player in, conversation with Neil Collins, sneak in behind, open the locker. He and I are similar builds.
You and who?
Lee.
Okay.
You disagree?
No, it was zoomed in on a player where I'm going, he's much fitter than you.
Oh, everybody's much fitter. No, Lee and I have the similar build. I got a couple inches on him, but we're the same build. He's sitting at home going, you wish, buddy.
De Silva will throw in here for Miami. It's two sides that only a couple-hour drive apart, in theory, at the way Devin drives on the interstate.
It's only a couple of hours. Don't implicate me into anything.
Ball rolled across, didn't quite reach Martinez, and Guillen into an open pocket of space, asking where he can get this ball away. Instead, it's right to Ballard. Ballard out to Martinez. Over Reed. Akinyoti. Luba.
That's the second time we've seen Gan step off the back line, made a great defensive move, and then give the ball away. He's got to be smarter in the distribution coming off, because he doesn't regularly do that, especially the step into the middle. Coming off the back line, absolutely. But the push into the interior is getting him in trouble.
Guillen kept that away from Ballard, but not away from Miami. Off into the bleachers by Janos Luba. The pride of Fordham University in the Bronx.
He had to get it in.
Spent a year at Red Bull too. Second year now in Miami. Harris, good first touch. Blackawecki rang off of Craig. Did well to send this as far as Doherty. Luba, mission accomplished out of pressure. Closing in on halftime now, Devin. Has anything truly this stage surprised you? Manzotti beyond Harris.
I'm a little surprised that the Rowdies haven't been more impressive in build-up within, this front attacking set that they have. Defensively, they've been able to sustain pressure. Wouldn't say that withstand is probably the best word to use, and they are two different things. But when they build out, they just seem off. Not as much rotation as we've seen in previous games. I wouldn't say that they look tired, but they're chasing a lot. Kind of movements like this, right? Flat on the inside, allowing Miami FC to build. And so when they start to turn and go the other direction, it's the same thing. The depth is off, so they're having trouble connecting as they move forward. Look for Lewis Hilton. He's looking for options right now. He had two. They were both closed down. And they were both closed down in 2v1 chances, where if you come up over the top to Dayon Harris, he's marked out between two center backs. And then on the other side of things, if you swing it to the outside, you're marked out by a holding midfielder and an outside defensive player in Janos Luba. So they're doing very well, Miami, about getting back. But I would also say that the intent by the Rowdies just seems like the vision isn't fully there so far.
Want to join the Miami FC Youth Academy? Visit miamifc.com/academy to register to the only academy in Miami connected to a professional team. Miami FC Youth Academy stoppage time, 3 minutes. All the while, Miami came in saying that some teams, and we've heard it from others as well, pay Tampa Bay too much respect in the way that they play them, which is to say their results have been so good that you almost fear. Miami vowed not to do that, and it doesn't feel like they have. It feels like they've largely executed the game plan that you'd anticipate.
No, but I understand what they're saying, because that's the whole point of this whole thing. You put fear into your opponents based upon your results, your performances. We've seen it so many times before with other teams around the league. Your Rochesters, your Phoenix, FC Cincinnati. Think about these teams where they would walk onto the field, and from a psychological standpoint, they had already won the game. You're fighting an uphill battle where it's, oh my God, let's worry about this person. How do we break down the back three? Evan Laurel's been so good. What do we do to stop Seba Guenzati, who can't start scoring goals up top? You get inside your own mind trying to break this thing down, when in the sense all you have to do, and it sounds easier said than done, is just step in and play the game. Remove that aspect. The coaches understand that too. The sports psychology department over the past 5-10 years has come leaps and bounds from when I played, Mike. I would say that's got to be the one area that has taken the biggest step. Psychologically, how do you gain an advantage over your opponent without impacting your own performances?
Header toward Lakawecki, and Palacios puts that out. I mean, I imagine when you were playing it, it was barely talked about at all. It was something that was thought about, but not something that was adequately answered.
Not like it is today, where they have regular sessions that are implemented in, well, you did this, and you took off 7 kilometers instead of 5. That could weigh on you in the end part of a game. So even though physically this is where the toll has come, we got to shut you down a little bit here. That was not talked about. You know, we would have conversations like that every 10 days, every 2 weeks. Rest and regeneration was fantastic.
Did you find at the time it was more anecdotal than data-driven as it is now?
I'm going to say no, but I think that's more situational, because if you go club to club, just within around the United States, they all have different feelings about it. Some managers sit and think, what's the load like? What's the expected goals like? And then they take that and literally apply it to how they are going to play. Other teams sit back and go, that's nice. We can use it as a suggestion. Both of these teams moving forward in the next 45 minutes, they're not going to worry about any of that right now. And we can continue that conversation in the second half, but for Miami FC, they need to keep stoking that fire of that quick counter. Adonijah Reed, Ariel Martinez, Pierre da Silva, that combination playing off of each other, going to suit well in the second half. Neil Collins, he wants Doherty, Hilton, and Steinbarger to start to get involved more, pull this thing inside, because they have so much speed outside. Anytime you find Lakawecki or Dalgard, they've been very good moving forward. We just haven't seen a lot of those looks yet.
Well, it's Miami's game right now. Up 1-0 here at the break. Macron halftime when we return to FIU Stadium. The Rowdies trying to avoid their first ever defeat in the league to Miami. Right now, trail at the half.
Once in a lifetime experience, really, honestly, and to really see how the quality that these players have, it's a blessing. I know for me and my teammates, we learned so much.
Man, it was an awesome day. I think it's a really good opportunity for our team to just see where we're at.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for them. It's definitely something that I wish I would have been able to do as a kid.
But we know that the level that we have to be at, these guys, they were stronger than us, faster than us, quicker than us, and we know that we can one day get to this level because this is a great learning experience for us.
We get to aspire to be that. And it also shows them that we're just regular players just like they are, you know? And, you know, we come from where they are.
This halftime is brought to you by Macron. Shop the new 2021 Miami FC Macron jersey collection at miamifc.com. Plenty of those jerseys are out in the stands tonight, as it is a select few allowed in the stadium. Oftentimes we get lost in game to game, week to week, but Devin doesn't do that. Tonight, we dish or cut bait.
1v1, also known as foreshadowing for a score to come, not to be confused with a table for two, but it is the dish, week 11. That's Canardo Forbes, that's Albert Diqua, there goes Anthony Velarde, and there goes 3 points for the Charlotte Independents. We're going to give it to the Pittsburgh Greyhounds. 4-1-1 in their last 6. Charlotte, losers of 3 out of 4. But let's talk about San Diego Loyal and Sacramento Republic. Prime time, baby! Divine for San Diego Loyal. Watch the build-up. Jack Blake slides over, bend, and steps Miguel Ibarra into the final third. Miguel Ibarra is going to put this on a platter for Corey Hertzog. His second goal of the season, first assist for Miguel Ibarra. One has to think that there's going to be more from the former MLS great. But see, if you don't put goals into the back of the net, you can't get points. Mitchell Tainer will get points, though. That's his first of the season. Carlton Belmar's first of the season. See, the one, it all makes sense now. Sacramento Republic have not won a game since May 12th, but that point right there could turn their season around. Let's talk about Colorado Springs and Real Monarchs and a bad man by the name of Haji Berry. And he's going to score the opening goal. Just kidding. That's Deshane Beckford on the Strauss. That's a shot and a cross because you don't know what that is being thrown in. But this is Haji Berry. This is the 22nd minute. And guess who? Beckford once again. This time he's supplying it. Haji Berry, 11th goal of the season. We'll talk about that more in a second. Andrew Briggs, nobody told them that they were supposed to fade quietly into the night, and that's not what's going to happen. A little fight back in for Hamas and Alave's boys. They get it to 2-1 just 6 minutes later. Love the ball in by Noah Powder. Great distribution by Douglas Martinez. But then there's those bad men again. Edwards, Sebastian Anderson, little flick. Back of the net, 3-1 Colorado Springs. All right. Let's take a look at the rest of the scores around the league. Western Conference wonders. Colorado Springs back in the win after the loss to Orange County. How about everybody else? San Antonio. Everybody's going to look at that and think it's bad. It is bad. They're struggling. Death by 1,000 draws, also known as 7 injuries to the starting 11. You can count it. Colorado Springs, we talked about the recovery. El Paso Locomotive over New Mexico United. 3 losses in a row. LAFC 2, also known as Las Vegas Lights, also known as the Fighting Steve Cherundelos. Good victory over 1-0 Tacoma Defiance.
Hey everyone, this is Oscar Jimenez from Louisville City FC.
Hi, my name is Carl Howarth. I currently play for the Indy 11.
What's up everybody? It's Connor Sparrow with the Miami FC.
Josué Soto checking in here. Austin Bold FC.
Hello guys, this is Luis Herrera from El Paso Locomotive. Just wanted to share with you guys my favorite soccer moment, and that will be the day I made my professional debut for El Paso, which is my hometown.
Anderson swings it in. Barry making the run, gets a deflection. He puts it in. Colorado Springs has its lead. And the save from Cardoni. It's there, and Cardoni with a huge save. Beautiful ball through, and that's in. Brilliant.
But now, to move forward, to start running again, we have to change. We need to learn to be smarter and lighter, to reach each other in the distance. We will move, run, and ride. But we need to decide how. Because our choices can change everything. We are choosing a new era.
This halftime is brought to you by Macron, and we are back at FIU Stadium. Miami FC with the lead over the reigning conference champion Tampa Bay Rowdies. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. Here we go. Look around the league. Good dish, Dev. Good dish.
I'm still hungry.
I know. Let's start with this. Charlotte opened the newly renovated Memorial Stadium.
The great Dane Kelly, as we speak, has a brace in a 2-1 league over New York Red Bull 2. Problem is, came off. Little tweak of the hamstring. He's approaching 100 goals, Mike. 100.
Yeah.
He's also the all-time leading red card recipient in the USL Championship. Little known fact.
No, I didn't know that.
Picked it up earlier today.
Colorado Springs will take on San Antonio FC. Widener Field, which is new this year as well. What is old is new again. Yes, totally different stadium. Can't wait for everybody to see it. Here's the team of the week presented by Clear Audio.
Brian Ownby, back-to-back Roro Lopez. How about the boy from El Paso Locomotive? Everybody wanted to talk about Seba. Don't sleep on my man Dylan. We're the 18 unbeaten, right?
They were. But not anymore.
Past tense.
Let's take a look at some of the goals of the week as well, and it's not really that difficult. It's presented by Select. Noah Powder.
Game over.
That's a knuckleball.
Game over. This is the best goal. I'm telling you right now. Watch him hit this thing, spin all the way. That's shades of his form from 2019 on the way to their championship run right there for Noah Powder. Caught in a gray area of whether or not he would break through with Real Salt Lake. Still getting reps for his country. You were on the call for this one.
Ted Di Pietro from a long way out. Santi Moore, I was on the call for this one too. Chip, 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 chip.
Hooray. Good little defensive step. Bad little defensive goalkeeping. Out in no man's land, outside the box. I'm not taking anything away from Brian Ownby. It's all about the cutback. Style points. Behind the back, off the backboard, kiss on the rim, break the net. Biggie Fry.
And then Miguel Ibarra against Oakland. This is a winner.
Good strike. His first goal in a San Diego Loyal uniform. Also picked up an assist on the weekend.
So Miguel Ibarra, former U.S. national teamer, starting to find himself. Devin, where do we get those scarves?
Not in Florida. You don't need them in Florida. It's an accent piece for an outfit.
Correct.
You're not there yet. we're getting you there. We're going shopping this weekend. Lee Cohen, we're coming for that locker. Let's talk to Nico Castillo. He'll get you a scarf.
1-0 Miami over Tampa Bay. The Macron halftime rolls on here from Miami when we return with first half highlights.
This is a football city. From the grassroots to the turf. From the streets to the cleats. We are proud to represent this city. We are proud to represent Miami. We are proud to represent you. Your community, your club.
Welcome back to the Macron halftime. That is 1/8 of a hot dog, no bun. I don't know, Devin, if you watched the Nathan's annual hot dog eating contest over the weekend.
Was it?
I think it was 67. It was a record.
67, another record. Joey Chestnut, let me guess.
Joey Chestnut. Here are the halftime highlights. They're brought to you by Hellbiz. We begin in the 5th minute of play. Miami FC getting after it early. Adonijah Reed at a really impressive opening 25 minutes.
Mentioned coming into halftime, this is what they want more of come the second half. The explosiveness where you have the entire team running downhill. Adonijah Reed, Othello Ba, the combination play on the interior by Ariel Martinez and De Silva are the ones that start to free that space up. And conversely, For Tampa Bay Rowdies, I want more Lackwecki and Dalgard. It's as simple as that. When the ball has been in their hands, so to say, they've been good moving forward. Did not see a lot of it. Very dangerous when they did.
Skip ahead to the 21st minute. Richard Ballard recirculating. De Silva, that's a tap in for Reed.
It's mismarking on the interior too. All comes down to the turn by Richie Ballard, but watch the middle. Forrest Lasso, he gets this wrong. It's as simple as that. He's a fantastic defender, but he doesn't judge the fact that this ball is going to come square back across. Everybody in a white jersey gets caught ball watching. Easy enough to stick into the back of the net. Here's that switch again. Here's the exterior. There goes Sebastian Delgard. Great move around the outside to spring through Janos Luba. The finishing touch for Tampa Bay Rowdies has been something that has plagued them the entire season. They're missing all those attacking options going forward, still providing themselves opportunities, just lacking a bit of quality.
Here are the halftime stats. Miami with the lead, but Tampa Bay more the possession. How do they create more valid opportunities out of that possession? The real question.
You have to dare Miami FC. You have to suck them into the midfield. Saying that they played off the back, play right through the middle. If you can't, go diagonal. Play it up over the top into the corner, let Lackwecki and Dalgard run onto it. They're good enough that they can also step on it and allow guys like Doherty and Hilton to come back underneath and then build that way. Mike, you reset your lines, and defensively, Miami FC will start to scramble.
Meanwhile, Miami FC is huddled up here on the field. They are missing Lamar Walker and Speedy Williams. Cristiano Francois is available off the bench. From their bench, Brian Silvestri steps into a starring role for the Haitian national team leading into Gold Cup. Miami trying to pick up what would certainly be their best win in the USL Championship since joining last year. A year described as an aberration, 16 points from 16 games. Far away from playoff position, but here tonight a chance to jump into playoff position past the quarter pole of the season. We are underway in Miami with the second half between Miami FC and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. De Silva. Corner Miami. For those joining us later on in the broadcast here, Miami FC head coach Paul Dalgleish tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday, is mildly symptomatic, not with the team here tonight, so Andy Thompson is leading the side. We did speak to Paul Dalgleish yesterday, the game plan already fully in mind and a lineup as well. And without much of a bench this evening due to international call-ups and injuries, not a lot of decisions to be made in terms of personnel. Martinez whips that across. Reed tried to get a piece. Is that a deliberate back pass to Laurel? It's not. He picks it up and launches out the other way.
I think I get away with one here, Mike. We're going to get a much better look in a second, but that definitely looked like the Rowdies got away with one at first glance. There was traffic, a lot of bodies in front of us, but the touch looked like it was right at the goalkeeper. Well sprung the other way.
So Andy Thompson's the one who's going to have to argue this. Somewhere Paul Dalgleish is screaming, right?
I'm just trying to figure out how it's not, is the real question. Great movement by Martinez. Watch him spring to the byline, head up as this comes all the way through. I don't know how that's not a back pass. There's two touches. I don't know how they don't call this a back pass to the goalkeeper. Simple as that.
The first, I think you could argue it sort of bounces up
but
and
not
hops
the second.
Up.
No, definitely not the second.
Well,
it's a gift.
There was a yell to Thomas Snyder, the referee, and clearly he had eyes on the situation. He acknowledged that protest by Miami and allowed play to continue. So,
more importantly, for a team that struggled building forward, what a way to get back in it right now from a set-piece opportunity if you're a Rowdies fan. Lewis Hilton standing up over the ball. A lot of excellent ball strikers from set-piece situations, especially this distance. Connor Sparrow got to be on his mark right now. Five-man wall, big body in front of him. work to be done here for the Englishman.
It is within striking range, of course. Lewis Hilton with a deep breath. Hits this off the wall, second effort. Dalgard. Guillen. Claimed by Sparrow. Sparrow, fourth round pick of RSL, went through UMKC into Creighton. You'd venture perhaps to call him a professional journeyman. He has finally gotten an opportunity to be the number one more consistently with a single team. And with that, he has flourished. Chapman Page, Luba. A header from Ba bounces into Lasso. That's a back pass to the goalkeeper, and Loro sends it away.
There's a different intensity here in the second half so far from the Rowdies, Mike. Forget the no call on one end. The drive is 100% different than what we saw in the opening 45 minutes. Definitely a conversation at halftime. Nice little move here by Dayon Harris to split him. So tactical and quick-witted with the ball at his feet. Not an easy one to pull the wool over the eyes of Paco Craig.
He's seen many a quick-witted set of feet before.
Which is usually they're chasing him. He's able to get out in front. You're just hoping that's not another injury picked up on this challenge. On Dayon Harris down in the corner.
He had a bit of a limp and he's grimacing as he walks away. Paco Craig can certainly bang around at the center back position. Hilton stands over the ball, chance to put this in play 5 minutes into the second half.
Look at Doherty cheating just a little bit. Right at the top of the 18, there is space.
Hilton. Header is in! Scarlett answers for the Rowdies on the road. Sparrow put two hands on that. It careens into the net, and the Rowdies have equalized.
Said it just moments prior, set piece opportunities, Mike, is how you get back into a match. They didn't really need it the way they've come out of the dressing room here in the second half. What a ball whipped in by Lewis Hilton. Look at the pace, moving away from the goalkeeper. This allows those big frames, your Lassos, the Guillens, and this time the right side of Jordan Scarlett just redirects this, uses that entire momentum of his 6 foot and above to stick this in the back of the net. That's exactly what they needed to start this half and get back on track.
First of the year for Jordan Scarlett. And believe it or not, that is only his third professional goal. Tonight is his 99th game in the USL Championship.
Got to be careful, he's closing in on Dan Kelly.
I'm looking at, he only has one red card. He's not getting close there either, come to think of it. Speaking of 100, congratulations to Sebastian Guinzotti of the Rowdies. 100 appearances for Tampa Bay. Ao Lang Stadium has a display of all the 100 game players in their history. It's part of the experience of going to Ao Lang Stadium, to be sure, and soon he'll have his plaque up there alongside, most recently, Georgi Ristov. Is there a better goal call anywhere in the USL Championship in the last decade than Mike Pepper anytime Georgi Ristov scored a goal? I don't think so. Maybe Drew Felios on a Georgie Hristoff goal, but it's close.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Indeed. Well, it's Reed standing over the ball now for Miami, who've won a free kick in a dangerous area. Well, the question now, can Miami go like for like and grab a goal here off a set piece of their own? They've got the pieces to challenge. 5 in blue and orange, chief among them. Thomas Snyder's having an uncomfortable conversation. All right, Doherty, you go over there. Ba, you get over there. Go to your corners.
Picnic in the 60th minute.
Reed looks like he's run for 2 games time. Standing over the ball. He'll run over. De Silva with a bit of whip to that. Reed stabbed away. Guenzati, one of the Rowdies' all-time greats. They always knew, but now it's official. Rolled forward, and Sparrow recovers.
It's a good break, though, for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and I don't mind the look from Dayon Harris. Really difficult to get this right. You would say the saving grace would be that you're actually on turf instead of grass, because you can get this thing to check up if he just hits it with a bit more English on the side of it.
This will roll all the way forward here for Reed. Reed pumps the brakes, had options over there, came up short. You listen to Paul Dalglish, and I don't disagree with him in theory. They've created 5, 10, 15 chances in games, and they haven't scored enough goals to consistently win those games. And it's that one mental minute of a lapse that's occurred that is to some extent defined their season. The difference between being a playoff team coming into the night and a team that could ultimately pick up points here this evening and move above the line anyways, with a lot of clear skies ahead. Miami's trying to create once again. Lasso had that under control.
There's an unwillingness to commit on that right-hand flank right now with Richie Ballard. And just seconds prior, as you start to pinch your way inside, you close off your options, and that was the combination play for Miami FC. Keep the width here.
Reed gets it back from Martinez. Reed on the cutback. And a foul from Adonijah Reed.
Just look at the build. You know, there's an understanding with this Miami FC team that they know they're technical. The balance is the one that's going to be the question for them going forward. Whether or not, A, they can continue to maintain a presence on both sides of the field, and B, more importantly, the width, Mike. You know, I talked about how important it is in a matchup in a game like this where you have so many pieces in different areas of the field that can be impactful. There are teams around the USL Championship that you just have spots that you're filling, right? You're trying to find a way to maintain shape, to make sure you have a presence there. That doesn't necessarily mean that that player is going to be a game changer. Both of these teams have game changers, and they've got it at outside backs, they've got it on the inside. So when you have those options, you need to make sure that your opposition is respecting those options. Find a way to utilize both the width and speed of Ba and Reed up front. Can you move the ball through Martinez and De Silva while still understanding that, okay, if it breaks down, where's the counter-attacking option going to come from? That's why Richie Ballard isn't stepping really high right now. They're worried about that run coming on the left-hand flank and the way that they've gone in speed and in transition with Dayon Harris, Guenzati, and Lakawecki on the left. They're sitting back, a little bit concerned that if they step into that space, the Rowdies are going to play in behind.
What a physical battle that was. Advantage was played for Akinyoti, but remains for Reed. Reed through 3 players, and Hilton with an arm extended that drew the ire of the referee. And through the consternation of Doherty's protest, free kick, Miami.
would make the argument we've seen more activity in the opening 15 minutes right now compared to the opening 45 in the first half, right?
Yeah. De Silva to the back post, and a diving effort. Nothing on that at all. Chapman Page.
He's got a sneaky left foot, Pierre De Silva. You always have to be wary of him going the selfish route, trying to come at goal at the same point in time. About 90% of the time, he's trying to pick out one of those back post run, but he can go low. Little English to the near post. Use a little bit of spin on the ball. Less likely to challenge the goalkeeper, bring it away from the top of the 6. One of his boys run underneath it.
I mean, Devin, if I told you he was 22 years old,
I would believe you. Just knowing how long he's been a professional, that's why. I actually had this conversation earlier with their head of communications, Nico Castillo, who's currently in works for your wardrobe department, and I was talking to him, and I just said, he's getting you a scarf. He said, you know, can you believe he's only 22 years of age? I said, no, I can, because I've covered him for that long. I've seen him since 2017.
2017, he was number 1 on the USL's 20 under 20 list.
OCB, there's another Anthony Pulis sighting. Prior to him coming over to St. Louis FC. Just didn't really break through the first team there. They had a mutual parting of ways back in July of 19. Felt like that was the best route for him, and then from there it was, okay, what's the next stop?
If we're being honest, Memphis
didn't work out.
And it hasn't worked out for a number of players at this point, you could argue. Well, the good news for Adonijah Reed is he's finally broken the deadlock. A 10-way tie for most goals on the team, 1 apiece. He grabbed his 2nd of the season in the 21st minute and sees Cristiano Francois step in his stead, which could lead to a pretty intriguing set of options here for Miami up front. Can say with assuredness Francois will play wide. The rest of this remains to be seen, and looks like Martinez is the one who's leading up front. Martinez has shown a little bit of a Swiss Army knife kind of feel to him tonight. When you talk to Paul Dalglish, the conversation is he has the green light to go more or less anywhere offensively as long as he handles his other responsibilities.
The question is how long until it hits the yellow or red, Mike, because that change usually occurs 75, 80 minutes in. The legs aren't exactly what they used to be, 35 years of age, and they recognize that they have to handle that very cautiously, especially considering how short the bench is right now. It's an extremely talented individual who can lead you in so many different ways. His ability to combine with one of the young men who's a little bit frustrated right there, Pierre De Silva. It's got to be the catalyst tonight. Good build on their goal.
Bounces up and put off Steinberger. Luba wanted to work quickly. Won't get the luxury. Luba part 2. There are a limited number of spectators in attendance here tonight. For the first time, Miami has some support in the stands since they've come to the USL Championship. They averaged over 5,000 a game back during their NASL days. The expectation is many of those fans have been borderline pounding at the door to get back in. That'll come on July the 13th. 100% capacity against Tampa Bay. These tickets are on sale now. That's De Silva. That's away. Check that, that's July 17th. That first home game comes with fans in the stands.
Carry the one.
Rare instance where I don't know what's happening on July 17th. Craig put that down. Deion Harris went running through. Paco Craig with Steinberger on his back. Former rivals in the Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest. This came off De Silva, but the Rowdies have taken over again. De Silva, Martinez, dancing by. Dalgard got him from behind.
Dalgard trying to make amends for the mistake that he made on the near touchline. Gave the ball away, tried to get cute on the little Meg, and then chased all the way back across. Line change coming for the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Well, and you could argue this is most of what they have to offer right now in terms of substitutes. And with the foul, they've decided to hold those subs a moment longer. With De Silva and his left foot, any interest in going from here? Is this a hair distant for you?
No, this is. That's world-class level. Watch out. I mean, good on him if he can. Show a different look here.
Well, he did go for the world class. That did clip the net on its way through. It's over the top, and the line change to come in a moment.
He's had a couple this season. His strike against the Charlotte Independents got credited for a Callan Chapman-Page goal, but picked out the upper corner, straight down. Unfortunately, did come directly down on the line. Here are those changes. No surprise, the fact that Deion Harris is stepping off just because of the amount of work that he's had to put in. Jordan Adebayo-Smith will join the party. Leo Fernandez stepping on for Max Lekowecki. Expect that left side to get a bit more busy. They have overloaded there for sure. And then how about Jan Ekra finally back? Zach Steinberger, he was an interesting one for me to Mike because tonight he was extremely efficient on the ball, just didn't actually give you that glimpse that they were looking for in the attacking spot. You know, I talked about how Doherty slides right and Lewis Hilton sits a bit deeper. You got to find a complement on the interior. He's been good the past couple of games. Tonight, as good as he was on the ball, you know, it was that little sparkle Neil Collins was looking for, he didn't get.
Adebayo-Smith, and there's the late whistle that came in. Junior Palacios commits the foul. It was a set piece that undid Miami back in the 51st minute, and certainly Tampa Bay is hoping to replicate the feat. Meanwhile, Devin, for Miami, I'm not sure we've really seen much of anything yet from Cristiano Francois. Hasn't made much of an impact at all.
No, he's going to have to move. You know, inside 25 minutes to go, this can't be as simplistic as he thinks it's going to be, Mike. Those one-offs up over the top, obviously his speed is a great attribute of his, and he's going to challenge, but everybody on that back line knows exactly what's coming at him. They've seen the tape. They're going to cut off every opportunity for him to run at pace.
Won't be Hilton, it will be Fernandez driving the cross. A couple of white shirts all leaping in unison. Kept here by Jan Ekra, who returns into the fold here for the Rowdies. Hilton serves this long, around the outside, stab down, seeking Scarlett on the backside, and the shot from the edge of the area comes right to Sparrow. There's a long way to run to get back into position now. Martinez with the cut. And he's giving it away.
There's the long in the tooth. The heavy legs that I talk about from Ariel Martinez. He's got to let this thing go. Option over the right shoulder. Just stick it down on the side. You're not closing any options off. Does it continue to move in transition? Yes. As fast as you'd like it to? Not necessarily, but you're not giving it away. The second that you cut it back, you've played right into the hands of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. You allow them to track back defensively. And I like the little tweak right now on the inside. They've turned this a little bit. Guenzati, he's not dropping as far to the left. He's coming a bit deeper, to be honest. And Ekra almost pushing him next to him to creating a triangle just underneath Jordan Adebayo-Smith. Flatten out the midfield a little bit. Now they got levels to build through, as opposed to points. Instead of going A to B to C, you can jump the options here, Mike.
Francois stridently, Laurel off his line sends this away. And as Miami tries to throw this in, change here for Miami. For Tampa Bay. That's Connor Antley replacing Sebastian Dalgard.
Number 23, Sebastian Dalgard. Substitution happened at the 70th minute.
Appreciation of the work put in from Neil Collins to Sebastian Dalgard as he makes his way down the bench. And Luba tosses in here for Miami.
Go ball.
Header back. De Silva. Craig. Luba. Struck through by Akinyoti. Taken back here by the Rowdies.
One of the areas you can get yourself into trouble in as a player, Mike, is being too predictable. Where as the ball starts to cycle back around, it almost becomes second nature that you have to just usher it along to the next person, right? Instead, Callan Chapman-Page, he doesn't. He doesn't continue the movement to the far side of the field. He recognizes the fact that there's about 25 yards in front of him to step up into. I would even say that he didn't need to play that ball first time. The fact that he had the runner, of course, you're not going to take that away, and the great little flick on to find De Silva. But it's the understanding that, and I've used this phrase before, just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean you have to, right? It's one of my favorite things to talk about, and I told that story, but just think about it. As you step into it, you could easily play that 5-yard ball, and sometimes you need to. Sometimes you need to stretch the team and continue to go, but if there's that much greenery, step right up into it. They're just handing you opportunities.
Martinez, wrong-sided De Silva. Well, there's something to be said for creating the scenario that you want and then actually taking the initiative to go execute. That's a foul from Adebayo-Smith. Ballard not appreciative. Adebayo-Smith, just 20 years old, was born in California, grew up in England, his first club in the U.S. Came on to rave reviews early on for the Rowdies. Ooh, Doherty. Well, you can hear Andy Thompson livid. Silva's back up and about. You'd have to think he's worse for the wear. De Silva drops into the pocket. Palacios, whose role certainly has to grow in the absence of Speedy Williams. Ba, clever. Ekra in pursuit, missed the last 2 games for the Rowdies. Last played against Pittsburgh 17 days ago. All the way ahead, and Ba stepping over Loro. Martinez bounces over to Antley. Scarlett. Loro. Twisting around. Guinzotti couldn't get a touch. Taken on by Akinyoti. Martinez. Rolls this out to Francois. Francois.
Good defending.
Careens off of Guillen.
This is a great job by Aaron Guillen because notice he doesn't bite. As this starts to come right at him, Cristiano Francois one-on-one with Aaron Guillen just stands his ground. It's a great job by the defender. Hips open, legs still close together. The ball can't come down through. Doesn't get him the option to cut it back across. And just forces him down to the end line.
Martinez off, and Jashawn Anglin comes on. And then Billy Forbes will replace Othello Ba. You would argue for Ba and Forbes, the next few weeks are going to be massive for how this season goes for them. Ba moving a few lines higher, and then Forbes trying to find more playing time.
Watch again. Watch Aaron Guillen as this thing breaks down. He's got a lot to do. He's got to stay on the inside because he can't give up the space to isolate Forrest Lasso. He does that. Now as he drifts out, watch his hips. He knows the scouting report. Wants it on the right foot for Cristiano Francois. Doesn't overcommit. Textbook defending from the Rowdies left back.
Ball ahead again! Chapman Page! Miami does lead! The goal is presented by Helbiz. And in the absence of 2 clear-cut starters and their head coach, Miami FC grabs the advantage in their last game without fans.
One of the jokes behind the scenes was the fact that he picked up the goal in the 18th minute. Everybody talked about the free kick by Pierre da Silva. The little flick on here. Is there a little touch? No, he is onside. 100%. Thought it actually came off his own player. It doesn't. The 18th minute against the Charlotte Independents was the set piece that Chapman Page tucked home. This time, there's no doubt whatsoever from the defender. Great job slipping himself through. He had one in the first half on the back post. This time, able to get on the end of it.
And don't look now, Devin. It's a heated race for leading goal scorer on the team. Reed's got 2. And then Chapman Page has 2, and then 8 others have 1. Guinzotti's got 8. He's going for 9. Did Sparrow get a touch to that? They say he did not. It's a goal kick.
Mike, watch the ball as it comes through the box. This is where I got caught. Actually thought it picked up a little deflection on the secondary ball whipped in. So well done here on the collection as this comes up through. Watch the little touch right there. It's a tiny bit of hesitation with Connor Antley and Forrest Lasso. The hesitation coming with Evan Laurel just catches him off. That tiny little touch, which allows Chapman Page to stick it into the back of the net.
Whoa! Who knew Lasso could move like that? They say the bigger they are, the harder they fall. It turns out that's a misnomer. The bigger they are, the more impressive when they get up. This is chipped away from Fernandez.
Wonder who's in charge of all the placard going on behind the scenes, because we just had to double check my notes. I was actually a little bit concerned that I did my math wrong, as we all know. That's not always my strong suit. So just jumped online to double check here. And in fact, Leo Fernandez, another one, 100th appearance for the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Remarkable. Hilton looking for another moment of magic here on a set piece to draw the Rowdies level in what's been a slugfest. It won't be there. Matthew Serbel replaces Lewis Hilton. That's the final effort Lewis Hilton will have in this one.
It wasn't the performance we saw against the Battery recently. Struggled a little bit on the interior, but to be fair, a lot of the boys in the white jerseys tonight did for Neil Collins and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Just not the same, structure. It's probably the best word. Their ability to build through. I talked about it so many times before, Mike, and making changes down the stretch. There's still plenty of time. Felt like the intensity they came out with to start the second half was headed in the right direction, but subsided about 10 minutes after they got their goal. All the way back in the 51st minute. Does have the assist on the goal for Jordan Scarlett, which at least leaves them within 1.
Touched away. Ekra will play this wide. Pushed ahead now for Serbel. Serbel, a bouncing ball, knotted down by Adebayo Smith, and Miami clears as far as De Silva. But Lasso. Doherty. Turns down the wide option. Cleared once more by Miami. Chance to run the other way for Forbes. Breaks down. Good turn, Scarlett. Serbel. This ricochets in between a multitude of players. And Leo Fernandez will inch over to the corner. Leo Fernandez, as mentioned, reaching 100 appearances for the Rowdies, former teammates at the Cosmos alongside Sebastian Guinzotti. Contact, edge of the area, play on. Ekra. Whipped out wide. Bouncing towards Scarlett. Chapman Page. Guillen. Ooh. Scarlett went into that. And it's a free kick here for Tampa Bay.
Dangerous area as well with the tackles flying around. I actually thought the one about 20 seconds prior. Shouts from the sideline I agreed with the initial challenge. But good on the Tampa Bay Rowdies to work this back into things. It's a little tug from behind on Billy Forbes. Not a lot in it, but just enough. Lewis Hilton, the normal set piece specialist, steps off. Plenty of boys, though, can hit this, and I like the setup here personally for Leo Fernandez, though when you look at it that way, plenty of room for the right footer. Jordan Doherty, I still favor number 11.
Fernandez will have a go. These two teams are going to meet again in 10 days back here at FIU Soccer Stadium. Miami fans will finally get a chance to see their team in person in the USL Championship for the first time. The traveling support, we assume, will be rowdy.
Easy.
Adebayo Smith. Shoved off by Chapman Page. Ballard. And this is a whistle outside the penalty area. The referee gave it a long look, and Chapman Page did commit a foul.
And speaking of looks, let's see if the Tampa Bay Rowdies can give a different one now. Lewis Hilton, so direct with his service, and rightfully so. Just sort of wondering, Mike, does it have to be this same look that we've seen all match long? I know that there's guys on this back line you want to work in. Of course, your goal scorer, Jordan Scarlett, Forrest Lasso, Aaron Guillen, just run the back three. But they're so good with the ball on the deck. I would love to see something worked here. Just check Jan Ekra right at the top of the 18, nobody marking him. Cut this back and let him rip.
Ball launched across for Guenzotti, seeking goal 45 in pursuit. Georgi Ristov's 60-goal Rowdy record. Comes back to Guillen. Launches ahead. Sparrow flying up to the ball. And it looked like Miami had unleashed Forbes up front. Instead, taken back now by Antley. Last win for Miami in the series, the Open Cup in 2017. It's been over 4 years, and a rivalry dormant for a few years' time as the Rowdies came to the league in 18. Ball in front. Appeal for a handball off of Paco Craig. Thomas Snyder waves that off with authority. Not a bad ball by Serbal either.
He's been great since coming on. Some kind of intensity. And there's your answer right there. Don't even need to argue it, 100%. Right? Don't know how that's not a penalty. There's been a couple of chances this game that have escaped the official in the middle. The only argument that you can say here is how close to the sleeve it is. Remember, it's the bottom part of the armpit that IFAB considers a clear-cut handball. Watch as this pops up. It's closer to the shoulder than people think. So it's the bottom part of the armpit, Mike, which basically lines up, or I should say usually lines up with someone's sleeve. Now the sleeve's going to extend a little bit further. Watch right there. Again, it's not the best of looks. If I'm at the head referee, I'm probably pointing to the spot. However, you have to take into account he's got a better view than we do. He's much closer to the action, and that 5 feet is way different from the viewpoint than we're getting. And you know me. I'll be the first one to say that is 100% a penalty. And when I initially looked at it, I would venture, okay, this is a pen, but when you get it on replay, it's the bottom of the armpit, I should say. And that's much closer than the initial view we got.
Serble again. Well, and they don't have the benefit of slow motion instant replay from multiple angles either.
No, so give them credit. I think a lot of Rowdies fans are probably going to feel hard done. And if I was in their shoes, I can understand the argument, but you have to remove the emotion at this point in time with the understanding that we don't have the best look at it, and the referee did.
Antley the long throw. Francois can run, putting on the Jets on Ekra. The two are flailing against one another. We're into the 90th minute now. A disputed arm hand ball in the box. The latest twist in this narrative between the two sides. 10th all-time meeting between these two, dating back to the 2016 season in the NASL. Miami's looking for their second win and their first in league competition. And for what it's worth, Ariel Martinez was playing in that game too. Driven ball through. Doherty got a piece and launched away. Neil Collins played in that game. Ben Sweat, Juan Guerra, Matt Pickens, Jaime Chavez, Nesta and Campbell were the coaches the first time these teams met. Tremendous collection of talent. Tampa Bay looking to equalize. Ball across. It was a good one from Fernandez, but bounces through to Antley. Lines up Francois, and Antley crosses. There's Sparrow.
Yeah, I thought maybe he'd go quick here. He's got to step on this thing. Well done.
Want to join the Miami FC Youth Academy? Visit miamifc.com/academy to register to the only academy in Miami connected to a professional team. 3 additional minutes. We're now into the second such minute. Next time these teams play, just 10 days' time, back here in Miami. Bouncing ball will run by Sparrow, and there'll be a lot more atmosphere and noise when that day comes. Substitution coming. It's for Miami. And I'll be honest, it makes sense in the moment, but a sub for a sub. Rarity.
Gamesmanship. Let's just kill that clock off a bit further than maybe would be up on it. Even Billy Forbes a bit confused. Why am I the scapegoat? How did I become the sacrificial lamb?
So Baggio comes on. De Silva and Antley make good. The referee doesn't care if the peace negotiations went well. He's still throwing out some punishment. De Silva's gone into the book. That's just his second yellow of the year. Laurel plays this forward. The dying minute here. Fernandez holds. Serble's been so good. Plays it forward. Sparrow rises up, collects, and may well see the clock out. Make no mistake, when you get that high off the ground, it's even worse when you come down the way he did. the referee is giving a drop ball here after going to check on the goalkeeper. Now Sparrow will pick it up. And with the substitution and the stoppage, maybe if the Rowdies can get hold of this, they'll get one more look. Or perhaps Sparrow will kick this into the Miami night and end it. Antley goes back. Do the Rowdies have time? This is a team that wins and it loses, but it doesn't draw. Diving header, steered into the bleachers. Baggio backs into position. Antley's got a gun. And he can throw all the way to the edge of the 6 from here. Antley delivers. Ball down. Cleared. And full time. And Miami has finally slayed Tampa Bay. 2-1 winners at FIU Stadium. In the absence of Paul Dalgleish, Andy Thompson, and Miami FC get the job done and move back into playoff position.
Go big picture here, Mike, for Miami FC. Think about what this organization has been through, just like everybody else, over the past year and a half. Let's get specific. 17 months have gone by since the start of the 2020 season, all the way back in March. In that time frame, only 4 teams have been able to knock down the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We saw the Charleston Battery do it 3 times in 2020. We've now seen the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Charlotte Independence, and now Miami FC. That is the best win in the history of their franchise in the USL Championship right now. Taking down the Eastern Conference champions, and it's out of that man right there, Callan Chapman-Page.
The Hellbiz man of the match, Callum Chapman-Page, grabs the 78th minute game winner. And Miami now 5-5-2 on the year. And into playoff position. And that's a worthwhile swig of Gatorade. There's going to be a massive crowd next time Miami takes the field. It's eerily quiet, perhaps the calm before the storm for Miami FC as they trudge up the standings in the Atlantic. Tampa Bay falls here. We'll wrap this one up when we return to FIU Stadium. Hellbiz postgame. Miami FC gets the job done tonight. 2-1. It was, well, we'll call it a slugfest. 2-1. Reed and Chapman-Page both grabbed their second goals of the season. Full-time highlights are brought to you by Hellbiz. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. We start all the way back in the opening 25 minutes, and if not for Ballard's pullback here, perhaps we never see the opening goal.
Take a bow on it, because it truly is a masterpiece. That little shimmy brings it all the way to the back post, and then well read here. More importantly, well timed is the better way to say it. for Pierre Da Silva on the back post. Adonai Jarry just recognizes he's just got to stand right where he's at because he knows Da Silva's going to pick him out. Rowdies fresh out of halftime. The talk off Neil Collins. Stick it into the back of the net by Jordan Scarlett. What a ball whipped in by Lewis Hilton all the way to the back stick. Big center back, 1-1.
So Tampa Bay, who've answered the bell seemingly every time this year, trying to avoid falling behind really late in this one. Cristiano Francois driving forward, and Chapman Page dives in, drives it home.
Forrest Lasso and Connor Antley, they don't do anything wrong, but it's what gets them into trouble here as this ball gets whipped in. There's a tiny little flick right there. It just screens the goalkeeper a little bit. Evan Loro knows it. Again, it's not bad marking, just sneaks in behind. Callum Chapman Page is fighting for a golden boot spot within Miami FC. His second on the year. Is it a handball? Again, the angle that we have, everybody wants to say yes, but when you slow it down, it's at the bottom of the armpit. Watch it pop back off. It's really close, Mike, and at that angle, it's too close to tell. Miami FC, an extremely important 3 points.
Devin, here are the full-time match stats. For one, we certainly hope Paul Dalglish is feeling better and gets back with the team soon. 28th game of the championship, 9th win. I imagine your final thought includes the fact this is probably the best win Miami's had.
100%. In the history of the organization within the USL Championship. You and I were just discussing off air, that's not a very long list for them. But at some point in time, you have to start to make it a list. This is one of those steps. This is also a game you can look back on, Mike, and picking the brain of Dalglish a couple days ago prior to their last match, he just said, listen, we need to score goals, I know that. More importantly, we need some results. Well, they're now unbeaten in 3. 2 wins and a draw in their last 3 matches. All of a sudden, they're sitting on 17 points with a game in hand on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Heck, one more win, and they're only a point behind a team in Pittsburgh Riverhounds that have gotten results in 5 out of their last 6. That's how you get momentum.
All right, so we'll turn the lights off here at FIU Stadium. Away to Loudoun on the weekend, and then Tampa Bay comes to town on the 17th with 100% capacity. And fans from both these teams will be ecstatic to walk through the turnstile once again. For our entire Vista crew, led by producer Dustin Curl, Eric Falero, Jose Ontiveros, Ivan Velasquez, Mike Watts, saying have a good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.